And welcome once again to Bible Journaling 66 and our series on the Parables of Jesus Christ. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to episode 26, the Parable of the King's Son. Jesus had just told the parable of the wicked husbandman to the crowd, speaking of his rejection by the lost sheep of Israel, and then calling of the Gentiles to do the work of spreading the gospel. Matthew 22, verses 1 through 14. And Jesus answered and spoke to them again by parables and said, The kingdom of heaven is like a certain king who arranged a marriage for his son, and sent out his servants to call those who were invited to the wedding. And they were not willing to come. Again, he sent out other servants, saying, Tell those who are invited, See, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen and fatted cattle are killed, and all things are ready. Come to the wedding. The certain king represents God the Father. The Son represents Jesus. The invited were the lost sheep of Israel. But they made light of it and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his business. And the rest seized his servants, treated them spitefully, and killed them. The guests were too concerned with their lives and refused to come. The servants represented John the Baptist and the prophets of the Old Testament, many of whom were mistreated and killed. But when the king heard about it, he was furious, and he sent out his armies, destroyed those murderers, and burned up the city. Then he said to his servants, The wedding is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. This was a prophetic statement that took place 40 years later, after the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, when Rome utterly destroyed Jerusalem. Therefore, go into the highways, and as many as you find, invite to the wedding. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all whom they found, both bad and good, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. The king then calls the rejects, the Gentiles, the good and the bad. But when the king came in to see the guests, he saw a man there who did not have on a wedding garment. The wedding garment is that which the king gives his guests when they accept the invitation. So he said to him, Friend, how did you come in here without a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then the king said to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen. This man represents the religious person who relies on his good works for entrance to the feast, the kingdom of heaven. He is the one who says, I don't think I'm so bad. I don't need a savior. I'm good enough as I am. He is trusting in his own righteousness. Ironside said in his sermon on this particular parable, quote, "In order to be lost forever, it is not necessary to be opposed to Christ. It is not necessary to say definitely, I reject Christ. Just neglect him, and you will never get into the feast." In Hebrews chapter 2, verses 2 and 3, we read, "For if the word spoken through angels proved steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just reward, how shall we escape if we neglect so great a salvation?" Probably the most famous verse in the Bible, John 3:16, says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." In closing, accept God's free gift of salvation today. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, Maranatha.